everybody knows on this platform that I own a lingerie line. And I do post on social media with me in the pieces. However, it doesn't give the man the right to approach me on a sexual manner. That's not what I'm pretty much promoting. So when y'all do say it's about a woman's way of like the way she dressed, I can't solely agree with it, but when it's her character and things that she portray, I can definitely agree with it.
Yeah,
Second,
but I
Well,
would, but I
so
would say
Charlotte,
you
But
as
we do
I
well.
have
want
to
to
agree, right?
hold
That,
on real quick. So,
okay.
real quick, Charlotte, I just want to address that. I agree. It's not up to a man to approach you sexually because you're posting it in your lingerie line, right? So it's something that you're selling. It's a brand, whatever. But if a girl is online twerking, bent over,
yes,
what is she showing? Men.
that's
She's
why.
literally.
Right,
So
that's
yeah.
why
So men, you can
character
say whatever. Right.
and
So that's what I'm
which,
saying. Like men are
which she thinks
going to approach you for sex.
and I totally get that. I totally
Right.
get that.
But I
And
don't think you're actually looking at the reality of it too, though. You are a woman and you're a beautiful woman, scantily clad on a platform. You're going to get approached, and because some guys they don't really care. They're not associated. Oh, that's just her job. That's just this. That's just that. They're going to look at it as a
They
type
see
of
a body.
that's why you
Right.
have to judge somebody off their character, right? Like you guys said about courting. If you go on a date and you address, I mean, you dealing with this person and that's not her character, you can't approach her in that manner. So a lot of people they're not dating somebody and saying, okay, well, this is who she is as a person, but this is what her pictures are, and this is it. Like they don't know how to separate the two.
But
So
Well,
the thing
sometimes
is,
I got a
you
question to
can
ask
you
you.
can approach in that manner.
I got a
You
question to ask you because
go ahead.
I
Right.
understand more times than often we're visual creatures in terms of how someone carries themselves, their decorum, and their mannerism. So I guess my question to you is, let's say a man wanted to talk to you and his pants was hanging down his ass, he didn't have underwear on, and his ass crack was showing. Would you say, you know what? I'm just going to judge him based off his character and give him my number, or would you write him off?
In person, no, I wouldn't write them off. That's
Okay.
just not my type of guy.
Let me ask you a question. You don't walk around the
That's
street
not
in the
my type of
lingerie.
guy.
You don't
No,
walk
I
around.
don't. That's on
Okay,
social
then.
media.
So there you go. And then
So
and that's the that you sell, correct?
Yes.
So that's
I
like
think
work, correct?
there's a lot of, like she was saying, there's a lot of confusion between, like, we merge realities, right? People present one reality on social media in
Right.
every way. And then we also have in-person reality. You're not going to post all of the deep, dark, bad things that happen on social media. So you have this highlight reel. Also versus like what you're selling. Like right now, you are not wearing lingerie because you're in a
Right.
completely different setting and this is not what we're selling, right? You're presenting yourself the way that you want to be perceived versus what you're trying to sell, right?
Right.
There's two different markets in
Right.
that setting. So
You're-
yeah, but we gotta
Would that
if you're
would that be
understand in
presenting
today's
yourself in a
would that be
specific
applicable?
way, social media shouldn't be taken into account on that.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we
mean,
have to understand that
People do take it
in
literal though.
do
yeah,
you
Hold
in
on.
think
today's
that
Go
society
ahead.
though. I'm
Hold
sorry.
on, Divine. Go ahead. Go ahead, Divine.
No, I was just piggybacking off of the young lady's point. I can't even really see your name, so I apologize. But the one on this side,
It's
but
fine.
yeah. So a lot of people have to understand that in today's society, social media is reality. People build their reality and what people perceive you as strictly off of social media. You have the ability to create these narratives about yourself to make yourself seem like something that you're totally not. Right. So we have to really, and I want to go back to what you said because you said that the realities are they're blended, and that's real. If you see someone online and they're selling lingerie, and maybe it shouldn't be that way, but it's just how things come together. They're selling lingerie online, and you like their body, you might see them out, and that's going to affect possibly how you approach
You
that
address
individual, only
right.
because of the fact that you're going to feel like their inhibitions have been a little bit lowered because of the fact that they're going to show themselves, how the young lady said, scantily clad on social media. So it is going to affect because how we present social media is who people are. You have tough guys on social media. You have girls that show themselves as models. They really bums. They don't have no money. All these things exist on social media, and then people see you and they see that they're not real. So we have to understand that we have to kind of like approach life like that too. We would never wear a hoodie to a job interview, right? So we have to understand that people do judge us based off of our appearances and
Yeah.
how we portray ourselves, particularly on social media. Social media is realer than real life right now.
Mhm.
So
Unfortunately.
And I
and
wanted
the
to
irony.
back that as well. I dabbled and dabbled into modeling. I mean, I still do it every now and then, but I was really doing it in my earlier 20s and my teens. And even I will say that the way people perceive you is definitely a thing when it comes to social media and what you post. Because there were people that, which is so crazy, there were people that thought I was like, you know, hitting it hard. I'm out here with the biggest people, and that wasn't the case. I was fighting to really build my stance in the modeling world, but there were people that thought I done made it already, and I was like, girl, you don't even know what I went through to get all of this done. And even
right.
outside of that, doing lingerie, swimsuits, and stuff that I've done in the past, men don't care how I actually. People know who I am for the most part. People don't care how much respect or standards, whatever I have. The fact that they see me in a certain attire on social media, they boom, they in it, they jumping for it, and they gonna try. You
And
know,
we
I think
can't.
that's something. I
They
think
could
that's something
try.
with men.
They could
I think
definitely
that's something
try.
with men. Men are always gonna shoot their shot, right? You know, it
Right.
doesn't matter how you actually do. That's just whatever they got going on in their head. They feel like
And
they
we
can do
can't. And
it.
then a couple of points I had to think of, right? Especially with us, right? We can't necessarily try to make that distinction between social media and reality,
Yeah.
while in conjunction saying we're being misrepresented through social media by the means of social media. So we can't afford to make that distinction, since we would arguably say social media is giving a poor picture of African Americans. Secondly,
Yeah.
second point, what I find the irony is when you said you want to make the distinction between social media and reality. Well, we're on a social media platform right now. So every ideological views or philosophical views that you express, should we say, well, Lindsay, I guess we have to make that distinction because on this platform, you're saying one thing in reality that isn't necessarily the case. So should we make that distinction with everything that comes out of your mouth now, since we're on social media? And what you're saying here on social media may be completely conversely different from how you are in real time.
Well, you have to take things with a grain of salt, because a lot of times people post things on social media and it's not their reality, right? Somebody will post something that, like, for instance, prime example, I was in the shopping mall and this guy pulled next to me with a Porsche. And these guys walked up to him and was like, do you mind if we take a video for our social media platform with your car, to show that it's like we giving people some, like, giving things away to people and stuff like that. So the guy was like, sure. So I'm sitting in my car next to the car, and they pretty much pretended that that was their vehicle, but it wasn't. And they walked off, and the guy looked at me and he was like, that's weird. Like, this is what people, I said, well, this is social media. This is what people do.
So, all right. So I remember, um, I was, I'm an entertainer or whatever. I do that stuff, and I've had the privilege of being able to do it like prior to social media. And what you're dealing with, like, is just branding and your persona. And the thing is you're dealing with an artist's responsibility, or responsibility of your branding. And what that means is that, like, whatever you put out there, yeah, you're not on stage 24/7, but there's gonna be some idiot that can't separate the artist from the regular person that's just walking around trying to go get some groceries. But
Correct.
when you step the minute you step into this world, into this industry, you understand that that's how that kind of thing works. So with social media, enter social media, now everybody has the same equal footing. Everybody you can be a star from your living room, right? So you modeling your own lingerie line on your page, which was something that had been unheard of 20 years ago. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Right. So now
Yeah.
you have stepped in the same realm as Tyra Banks or whoever that's also on social media trying to get her thing out. You're a lingerie model now, right? At least according to your social media page.
Right.
So
And
that
I'm an
means,
actress.
so that
So
means that, that so that right. So that means that people who follow you and follow your content, they're gonna view you as such, which means they're gonna
Right.
interact with you. They're gonna interact with you based on what your persona is, and that's just the reality of it is. And then you're gonna have people who can also separate you from that persona and understand that you're a complete person. You're walking around, you got your mock neck on, you fully clothed, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You're the person that you are in real life outside of that platform. There's people that can separate that, there's people that can't. But what you have to understand though, as a woman, especially, is that if you're gonna put it out there, you're gonna have to deal with the blowback of whatever it is that you put out there. So the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that shit. So
Right.
you gonna have people that get it, you're gonna have people that don't get it. But if
Right.
you're gonna put yourself out there like that, then you gotta take the good with the bad. You know what I
Right.
mean? And to navigate through all of that.
Yeah, I was gonna read one of the comments from Major Move Chris, and he said most of the issues that are discussed came with the free will or liberation movement of women opinion.
I would say a lot of that came from like more so when the feminist movement became a thing. Like because when I don't have my laptop, y'all. Duke Energy got a whole power outage. I'm not even at the crib. I'm pissed. But I'm pissed, yes. So I have my notes, but I basically did a little bit of research where obviously women were separated from having the right to vote, even all the way down to having the right to their own property, having the right to their own funds, and other basic life necessities that they needed, right? And I feel like sometimes we might confuse the feminist movement and just put that as the woman's movement in general. But I feel like there's a huge separation because while women were fighting just to have basic humanitarian rights, you had more so of the white women and the other feminist people that came in and really kind of put the notion of, you know, women are this powerful. We don't need this. We don't need that. We can do the same thing. And you can really see that in our society today of where that mindset came from. So yeah, I think, he said it right. So yeah.
Oh, let me see that too.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm on board with that. I do feel as if the movement of that whole feminist movement is what ruined. Now, it was great for women's rights. I'm all for that. I'm all for women having the right to vote, women having the choice to be able to pretty much do as they please alongside with men. But I feel like you don't have to lose your men in return to having those rights. And that's where it got twisted, where it turned into the third wave of feminism, where it's, okay, well, now I don't need my man because I'm working. It's something that Lindsay said earlier about women now being able to go to school, getting an education, making money. So that in return took a hinder to the family structure. But in rebuttal to that, I will have to say, why isn't it like that in, let's say, the Asian community, where if you look at the marriage percentage, right, Asian women are highly educated, but yet and still their marriage rates are higher than all of our communities between Black and white and Hispanic.
But
right?
I think that's because it's more of like an American thing. Like we the only ones that's really doing that. You know what I mean? You don't really, and just from the Asian community, like they stick very strong to their roots, what they believe, like where they come from. Like they're very, they're just deeply rooted in where they come from in their history. And when you kind of look at like the American culture, half of us don't know nothing about nothing. You know, America's a huge melting pot. People come here, they create their own morals and values. And it really just kind of goes from there. Nobody's really rooted in anything we could compare it to like the Asian society and stuff like that.
I wanted to say something. Actually, I wanted to touch on a couple of things that was said. I wanted to say this about, you know, when women are, you know, lingerie models and whatnot, not knocking them or anything, but I think fellas need to understand when women are just trying to use the current tools that they have as their barometer to see what type of men that they can attract. Social media is one of them. All right. Why do you think they take certain pictures? Because they're trying to see what they're trying to throw a long touchdown pass. All right. And right now, social media is that tool because ain't nobody doing no cold approach it no more because a lot of men don't have that ability. They're like, shit, I'd rather holler at women online. And this is why you get that. You get women posting certain pictures online. It ain't for the dusties. Of course they know they're gonna get them, but they waiting to see, you know what I'm saying? One of them
No,
great
but the
catch to come in that box
Dusties,
one day.
the Dusties get validation, right? So
Oh yeah.
even though
Oh
like
yeah.
a man like me, I am not going to go on no woman's social media and like her picture because she's half naked. But
Right.
those same Dusties will. So the problem is it gives female validation. So it's almost like, okay, well, I got 10,000 men liking my picture, so why not continue to post it?
Right.
I'm
mean,
sorry.
That's where the
their,
problem
And
is.
I want to say
Devil's
this.
advocate. I can't agree
Jump
with
again. I
y'all.
want to jump ahead of the boat because Charlotte has a tendency of personalizing things just because she doesn't fit in it and she may be a special case. She'll say, "Well, I don't think that's necessarily true because I'm
Yeah,
not like
because
that."
I'm
So
gonna
my
be
question to
honest
you,
with you.
Charlotte.
Somebody asked me and a couple of other women, right? Why do you dress sexy or why do you like to dress sexy, right? Is it to attract men? Most of the time, it's not.
Are you talking about yourself?
Me personally, it's
Right,
not
but I'm saying,
because it's,
Charlotte, you.
hold
But what I'm
on.
saying is,
But
but Charlotte,
I'm
can I just
speaking for
interject?
hold
I
on.
was just speaking, Charlotte. I
Speaking
just want to
for
make this
go ahead.
point. You have a tendency of doing that. When someone engages in generalizations, you personalize it and make it about yourself. That's great. Charlotte doesn't dress in a manner that is provocative to which she's trying to attract men. But that doesn't dispute the fact that there are a large portion of people who do it, Charlotte.
Right, but some women don't dress provocative to attract men. And I'm
But
just
he
being
didn't say
honest
all.
because that's what they feel like they want to do because that makes them feel good. So I
I mean, he's
can't
a prime example.
I can't hold on. I can't sit and agree with you guys totally. I have to be honest. I'm
A
not gonna allow
generalization
somebody
I
is
want to.
not
to
a
Can I chime
totality,
in?
Charlotte.
Can I chime in
Charlotte,
real
a
quick?
generalization is not an entirety. It's just
because
a
that's not all
generalization.
women.
But
Yes,
There's
beyond that,
women
I
that
want to.
might
I
beyond
want to chime in really quick.
and
I
dress
want to chime in really
nasty and
quick.
provocative.
There.
And then there's some women that dress sexy, but it's because that's what they like personally. It's not to
Oh
attract
my God.
men, it's
And
because they like
but but
I want to jump in real quick because I think I definitely hear what both of y'all are saying, and I think Charlotte is agreeing with you, Guru. I think she's just saying that personally, like she said, she doesn't do it, and she's saying that there's also women like her that don't want to do that.
correct.
I
yeah, but
personally like to get dressed up, and I take myself out on dates. I put on my little heels, my little dress, I do my makeup, and I'm literally not out wondering, oh, who's gonna whatever. I simply like it
all
because I
right.
know I literally look good in my own. It makes me feel good.
Right.
I'm
But
happy.
there's a
But
distinct.
Hold on. Not to cut y'all off.
there are women out there that for a fact do it to be seen. Like I went out a couple
Yes.
nights ago and I saw some girl with a little skirt on, but as she's walking, you can see the cheeks hanging out under. She probably wanna see what she can get. So I think y'all are agreeing, but yeah. Go ahead,
Right.
Joe.
I was just gonna say, like, there's a distinct difference between getting dressed up and taking yourself out, like you're saying, and like posting yourself in lingerie. Matter of fact, there's a difference between dressing a certain way and then like dressing a certain way, taking a picture, posting it, running it through editing software, and then like you know what I'm saying, like and writing a caption and figuring out all this other stuff. It's just when if we're saying that we don't post to social media to get some type of validation, we are in denial because that is literally the very function of social media.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I can agree with that.
yes, good point.
So
I mean, talking about social media, but like, yes, we post on social media to get the attention, but why can't we go into social media with the assumption of like being accountable for our own assumptions, right? Like if you're posting to sell your lingerie, then that should be how you're going into it. But it's also based on the people perceiving it. You have to have some sort of reality when you go onto her page of looking at the lingerie that she is trying to sell. You're looking at her as a person wearing these and showing what it looks like versus that's her as a person. That's what she likes. She's gaining the attention versus she's trying to gain business. Like we do post things. Yes, it like baby announcements, marriage. Like, we want people to share in our reality and our excitement, but it is also on the person who's viewing your accountability to realize, like, you have your own perceptions and your own reality of what you're assuming about that person, and that could not be furthest from the truth, right? So like, there's some people who are really active on social media and do it for the attention, but there's also a lot of people that use it for a platform of how it's meant to be used, which is spreading information, you know, gaining followers or gaining revenue, things like that. You know, it shouldn't be placing a personal value of you as a person.
That's
You're
I
showing
agree.
Let me.
I agree.
I'm
with
gonna
that.
One
read.
second, one second.
Wait.
I'm
Wait,
read
wait,
one of the.
hold on. Guru, 1 second. Devon, go ahead.
I just want to tap in with that because we can't, and I understand what you're saying, sis, but we can't negate the fact of the type of emotions that we're looking to arouse. And I don't mean sexually arouse, but the type of emotions that we're looking to occur when, let's say, hypothetically, I'm using a young lady there, when she posts the lingerie. She wants someone to say that it's sexy. She wants someone to be turned on. She wants them to feel certain emotions. So then in turn, they will. 1 second here. Don't say no. So that in turn, they're going to want to buy the product. If a woman or a man doesn't find it to be sexually attractive and it doesn't turn them on, they have no motivation to buy the product. So you have to go into it with the realization of what you're actually trying to invoke. Then you can't get upset when they feel that type of way, right? That emotion is going to happen. A man might see them like, damn, she bad as shit. You know what? I might get that for my girl, but damn, she still also look good. And he might see you and he might say something. The woman, the woman the same way. So we can't lay it out there, show it to the people like it outside of a vacuum and say, hey, listen, you know, this is what it is. And then kind of like chastise them for the type of emotions that they're experiencing. You're putting sex on the platter and they're eating it up. And then now they're coming back to you because they're coming back for more of the meal. We have to really look at that. We can't negate those facts. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's giving somebody something
to be
and then
honest with
spanking them
you,
for that.
our brand stands for basically women empowerment, right? It stands for sensuality within itself. Because a lot of women who are not my shape feel like they can't wear those things. So I kind of try and promote that. But if a lot of people check and see like some of the fashion show clips that I did do, I have many women in different shapes and sizes, and I'm not even modeling it. So that's what my brand stands for. Yes, I post videos of me in it because where I come from, magazines, modeling in magazines and doing different things like that. So now that we have social media, I utilize social media because it's a click on the phone. So it's not to encourage sex and all this and all of that, but it's also encouraging the woman to say, you know what, I can feel sexy in that. And when, to be honest with you, I wear it under my clothes because it allowed me to feel sensual as a woman, because everybody has created a reality where she needed to be so hard.
Because I know we seem to have a conversation in terms of how we would like things to be rather than how things are, right? They are what they are. There's no different from, if, not trying to be funny when I use this example, but if I was wearing a skirt and high heels, people would be under the presumption I must be gay. I even if I wasn't, but the fact of the matter is that's how people perceive things, contingent on what you are displaying on public platforms and what you wear and how you carry yourself. We can,
but that's on commercials. So we say the same thing when we see the guy in the Hanes commercial with the underwear.
I don't understand what you're saying, Charlotte, to be honest with you.
Hold on, I'm gonna read one of the comments. Mongol is
So
saying it's still an attention grab online, or else why not keep the pics to yourself if it's truly for self?